What does it mean when we say that the planet goes retrograde? Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, Mars retrograde. What does it mean? We can imagine that the planets are actually almost like the runners that are running in a circular tracks. We can imagine that they are running at the different speeds all around the center, which is the sun. So the way that the planets move is actually in circular orbits, and according to the Kepler law, closer the planet is to the sun, the faster it goes, and then farther from the sun it goes slower. So notice how these inner planets, the Mercury comes first, then Venus, then Earth with its moon. You see how moon is spinning fast around the Earth. And then Mars after that, and then the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. So inner planets, Mercury really zooms fast around the sun. And then you see how Venus is going a little bit slower than Earth with its moon, a little slower, and Mars slower still. But look at the Jupiter. It is barely moving, but we still see it moving. And then look at the Saturn. Saturn, barely we can perceive it. And then Neptune and Uranus, they're practically not moving at all in this animation. It seems like they're static, they go so slow. Yeah, so actually if you look at the relative speeds of the planets, we're going to see something like this. Mercury goes fastest, and then Venus, and then Earth, and then look at it. Just compare. These are the relative speeds, how we perceive that motion. And what this means is, like, what is the speed measure even against? How do we perceive this speed? We perceive it if we look against the static background of the stars. So there is the Milky Way in the background, and if we look at it as static, well, our Earth is slowly moving like that, and then we see some passing planets that are slowly moving against this static background of the stars. So the way that this retrograde motion looks against the static stars is like this. If we look at Mars, for example, it looks like it's slowly moving forward, and then it starts breaking, and then it apparently starts going back for a while, and then it starts breaking, slows down again, and then continues to go forward. So how does it actually work? This is the model of how it works. Here we have, in this model, we just look at 3 planets and the sun. We look at the sun, Venus, which is closest in this model, then Earth, which is the next one, the blue planet, and the third one is Mars. And then the white circles are the orbits. Outermost circle with the dots in the background is how we perceive the sky. So observe the outer circle with the stars, and then what happens there. We see, looking from Earth, we see Venus and we see the sun. So Venus apparently goes forward, and then at some point it starts stopping. Now it goes backwards, now it continues going forward. So how does it happen? Look on the inner circles. It catches up with Earth, overtakes it, and then continues moving. So in the moment at Venus overtaking the Earth, what it projected on the sky, it looks like it was starting to move backwards. So look again, coming closer to Earth, closer, catches up, goes backwards, then continues going forward. So this is how it actually works. This is why it seems like it's going backwards, because from Earth looking towards Venus and having those fixed stars in the background, it seems like it's moving backwards, but it has only overpassed us and we stayed slower. And the opposite is true when we are looking at the Mars. In the case of Mars, we are actually overtaking it, and it looks like it's going backwards. So here's what it looks like when we compare Earth and Mars. So now we are going slowly, 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 closer and closer to Mars, which is moving slower. And look at it now. Now we are coming very, very close, and now we are overtaking it. It looks like it's going backwards. And now it continues to go forward. So look at it again. Observe the circle that the Earth is making, and observe at the same time what's happening in the sky. So Earth is coming closer, and now it's catching up, and now, okay, at this moment Mars goes backwards, and at this moment it continues and goes forwards. So let's look at it one more time. So Mars is going in a normal direction, and now as we are closing up on it, it slows apparently down, starts going backwards, and then continues moving forwards. So this is the mechanism of how it works. It is all apparent, it doesn't really go backwards, but looking from the Earth, this is what it looks like to us. So I hope this makes sense, and it's now clearly explained through the example, and let us know if this is making it clear in your comments.